Our gang getting back into another lesson in Pixlr for our distance learning sessions. And what we're going to get into today is creating sort of this surreal portrait where you kind of chop someone, the top part of their face off, and then have kind of things that might be kind of coming out of their head to kind of explain them, who they are, or the kinds of things that they do or have experienced in their lives in a way. So hard to tell, but the bottom half of my person is Jim Carrey, and these are a couple of things that kind of are inspired by movies he's been in and things like that. So, you know, kind of also a very funny-ish person who has a lot of probably wild thoughts and random stuff going on up in his head. So good subject matter for this particular assignment too. So first thing we're going to want to do is I'm going to go back out to my home here. I'm going to go create new, choose full HD and hit create. And the first thing we're going to want to do, I always like to just click on the zoom out button so I can see the edges of my frame. Pick a color for your background. Remember, click on this circle. You could choose whatever color you want. I'll keep this pretty much this pastel-y pink kind of color that I had before, and click on your paint bucket tool, this icon here, and then just click anywhere to fill that first layer. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go and hit new tab, and I'm going to see if I can find the same image I had worked with Jim Carrey. It doesn't have to be the same exact one. Do a quick image search here. Let's see, he had a nice leather jacket on in the picture. I think what we might want to do is also go profile, because we do actually want a photo. You know, I've seen some that were done in this similar way that had profile photos where they were looking sideways, but the one I had chosen was this one where he's looking straight ahead. So just going to copy this image. Again, always going to be beneficial to you to have a simple background for images that we're using. You could also type white background into the search here, or simple background. I'm going to hit Command V to paste the image I copied, and I'll just use my magic wand tool, which I'm going to use a lot in this particular assignment, to get rid of some of this background stuff. I'm going to hit Command D. I noticed that I changed my tolerance earlier. It's probably default set to 32, which is a good place to have it, default set, and then you can change it later if need be. So I'm going to go ahead, and it looks like there's some spots missing here. I'm going to click on these areas and then just hit delete, and then click on that area and hit delete there again, and then hit Command D to deselect. Now it looks really small, minuscule things that were over here. I could kind of click with my eraser tool and just kind of like erase all over here, but don't think that's going to affect the outcome here very much. Next thing I'm going to do is just kind of drag this down, maybe pull him off. I want his head to be kind of centered in the space here. I want there to be space above it so that things could be emerging out of it. So you want the face to be kind of like right in the middle of the entire frame here. So that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is we'll go ahead and take away the color. So we're going to go to Adjustment, we'll go to Hue Saturation, and we're just going to turn the saturation all the way down. What essentially is going to take out all the color information from this photo. So it's black and white now. Next step will be to take our marquee tool, our marquee select tool, and I'm going to want to click and drag, and I want this line where I'm going to kind of clip the top half of his head open is going to be just underneath the eyes. So, you know, he has a little angle going on here. I'm going to just go straight flat across. I suppose you could go at an angle if you wanted to, and then just hit delete. Oh, not an image layer, so I click on my image layer, hit delete, and that kind of clears it out. Hit Command D to deselect, and I'm kind of ready to keep going here. What I want to do actually is add in a new layer, an empty layer. We're going to add that kind of circle that goes kind of behind the head that kind of just ties together the room a little bit more, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a different fill color for this. I think I had kind of like a light yellowish tan color almost for my other color, maybe even lighter. That seems good. So really light color for this one. I'm going to click and drag. So you'll see here the fill color is the bottom color. So I got that mixed up. So I'm going to hit Command Z to undo. And I just want to switch that. So this is your fill color, this is your outline color. if I want, I don't think I want an outline, so I'm just going to hit Command Z. I'm going to go in here, and actually what it does that's kind of nice is it tells you what colors you've previously selected. I'm going to make the outline color the same as the outside color, so that again, hold Shift and click and drag to make a good circle here. I want my circle to be about kind of the size. It's going to go almost to the top of the page and come down behind his head and just barely touch the shoulders there. And that kind of creates the canvas space where we're going to start working on. So 3 layers, we got our image, our circle, and our background. Now the rest are going to be kind of added behind maybe this, maybe in front of it though too sometimes. So at this point you guys could probably take this and run with it, but I'll go through and kind of demonstrate how I went through with mine. Started with the capuchin monkey, of course, also typing in white background just to make things easier for myself in the long run here. I'm going to right click, copy image. The Capuchin Monkey story is from one of his movies, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, if you guys aren't familiar. I'm going to take out this background here and Command D to deselect. He has a buddy who is a little capuchin monkey who is the most adorable thing. It looked like there was still maybe a white outline around that, but maybe it just appears when I click on it, so I think it's okay. But yeah, just going to shrink this guy down a little bit. So that's why he became part of this image, is because he's a character in one of the movies that he always carries around with him. The other thing I did was I put on the hat from Jim Carrey's other movie, The Mask. So this hat that he wears, Command V to paste. Again, white background's going to make life easier. Click on that white background, hit Delete key, Command D to deselect, and I can give this guy a nice little hat, shrink it, and rotate it so that it fits him just fine. And then the other thing I wanted was and I'm going to hit Command T to a new tab, Control T, and I was going to do a banana tree was the other thing. It's really important that you consider having things that either grow out of the head or actually like jump out of the head. That just is one way to kind of make things a little more interesting with this assignment. And so here was the one. This is this tiny little 3-foot banana tree that I had found an image of before. Going to copy that image and go back in here, Command V. Now it looks like this did have a white line that kind of came with it. I'm going to hit my eraser tool really quick and try to get rid of that line from the hat. I think that was from the hat picture. Yeah. Command V to paste this in. Again, keeping those backgrounds of images you're using, copying, borrowing. White is going to make things much easier. Going to zoom back in here, zoomed out a little bit. Alright, I want to reorder my layers now a little bit because I want this to be behind the head, kind of looking like it's growing out of it. And then I'm going to kind of shrink it a little more. And I'm going to move it. It's right now, it's in front of Monkey's face, so I got to move it down one more to move it behind the monkey. So he's kind of like checking this out. He's like, ooh, I'm chilling here, checking out the banana tree. This bottom part here I might erase, and I can kind of see now that there's an image behind the monkey that some of that white outline still remained on that image there. So I'm going to take my eraser tool and just kind of erase that a little bit. Also going to go to my tree layer, and I'm going to erase this bottom part of it, the little pot that's kind of poking out from the back. That way it really looks like the tree emerges kind of like straight out of his head. So you can see, you get the idea of where I'm going with this. I want you to add at least 4 things, 4 objects. The other thing that I had added was a dolphin. Again, try to choose things that are either jumping out of the person's head or that are growing out of the person's head. Just kind of adds to the overall like look and effect of the project. And so I'm just kind of looking here for a good dolphin, kind of like a silhouette that's like, this one's pretty good because he's all in the background here. I could take that one and play with that. I could just go with this very first one here. Just again, trying to get something with a very simple background that will be easy to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this image, go over to Pixlr again, gonna paste that in. So I actually wanted this guy flipped. So I'm gonna go to Image, or maybe Edit, Transform, and then I'm going to flip it horizontally. I want this guy jumping out the other side because I already got monkey on the other side. I'm going to try and select this guy's background. I can hit Add to Selection if you clicked once and it didn't give you much, and then you can keep clicking to try and get all the rest of the area here. The other thing you could use is your Command D, is your lasso tools, right? You can use your lasso tools for this as well. I'm going to Command Z. I'm just going to go back to my image search again and just find the better image. If I just click this picture, I can delete. Try to flip back through my history there a little bit, but I don't think I got to the right point. And now I'm trying to wait for a little loading here. Okay, so deleting that, I was going to go, I think, again, if you just add white background into your searches, it's going to make your work go a little more smoothly. You know, here's a good example. This may have been the same one I used last time. It just creates a lot more ease of our creating of these little kind of photo collages here. To have very basic white background photos to kind of clip your backgrounds from. Now again, I'm not sure what in particular is happening, why I'm getting these, don't need this one anymore, why I'm getting these white outlines on my photos here. So I'm just going to delete this one more time and try to go Command V to paste one more time. Let's try my wand. Feather is off. Okay, gonna delete and then hit Command D. Okay, still a little line along the top of it. That's really kind of strange. It wasn't doing that to me before. But make sure you clean up any stray lines. I'm just going to, oops, I'm scrolling. When I scroll, that zooms. Just going to shrink this a little bit, rotate it a little bit. I think that I'm almost there. Make this guy a little bit bigger. Like I said, things growing out or jumping out of the head are going to be good effect wise for this type of assignment. And last thing, I was going to add a little water splash. So again, copying that image, Command V to paste, and one more magic wand action time, delete, Command D, and just do a little resizing so this splash kind of comes off the back of the dolphin. Click and drag this little circle to rotate a bit. And there we go. So that's looking pretty good. And that was my project for kind of this half cut open face portrait where we have some things kind of jumping out of the head, a bit of a surrealism type project. So hope you guys have a good time creating your own surreal half-faced portrait, and you know, have fun and be creative.